of the party, how to regain the advantage among voters. Some of the most optimistic voices come from the party's youngest members, a new generation of leaders who hope to steer the party in the years ahead. Joining us now, Alexandra Smith is national co-chair for the College Republican National Committee. Megan Dutra is chairman of the Massachusetts Alliance of College Republicans. And Jake Wagner is chairman of the New Hampshire Federation of College Republicans. And welcome all three. Nice to talk with you. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. I've been looking forward to it. And Alexandra, let me start with you, because young voters were so drawn to President Obama once again this year. Not as much so as in 2008, but a big advantage over Governor Romney, 59 to 37%. Why do you think that was?
Well, you know, we were able to make strides among the youth, decreasing the president's lead from 2008. This year we carried 37% of all 18 to 29-year-olds, and that was a big accomplishment for the College Republican National Committee. This year we had our largest field staff out in the field, had 63 field reps in 25 battleground states, and together they produced about 7.2 million live voter contacts and recruited 52,000 new CRs. So we were tremendously proud of our field effort, and I think that that's largely what you see reflected in those numbers. If you really break down those numbers, though, Governor Romney made big leaps and strides among the white male vote of 18 to 29-year-olds, but we still suffered as a party with young women and with young minority voters. So I think that overall this says to college Republicans that we're going to have to engage more with those communities and really refine our message when talking to those folks.
Megan, how much of it do you think is social issues? I mean, are young people just more open to the idea of abortion rights for women, of same-sex marriage rights for gay couples? What is it?
I definitely think it's a lot different from the current generation that is going out there and voting the most. Middle-aged and older voters are voting less on social issues, and I know that social issues are a bigger impact on youth voters because it is something that affects us directly more than the fiscal budget or something like that, where college students, we are dealing with these social things every single day. We're dealing with them in our classes, in our separate clubs. So I do think social issues are going to be making a bigger stance in the next coming elections, especially with the Republican Party.
Jake, help us look into the future now, and I'm going to ask all three of you, but let's start with Jake. How would young Republicans like to see future candidates talk about, for example, taxes? We have the fiscal cliff negotiations going on Capitol Hill. For young Republicans right now, as you listen to what both sides are saying in this debate, where do young Republicans fall on raising taxes for the wealthiest to help pay down the debt?
Sure. Well, thank you for having us on today, of course. But, you know, I think it's just important that as a party, our candidates are making sure that, you know, our voices are modernizing, not necessarily moderating. You know, we don't necessarily have to fundamentally change who we are as a party and who we are as Republicans. You know, we have to make sure that our voices on taxes, on spending, on the economy are heard loud and clear. And just as Megan said, the economic issues, you know, are driving many young voters indeed. So where we stand on taxes is that they should be low, but most importantly, when it regards to college students and younger voters, we need to make sure that when we graduate college that we're put into a job environment that we're able to live productively, that we're not burdened by higher taxes, that we're not burdened by the difficulties put forth by government spending at the rates that they have been. So, you know, when it comes to this fiscal cliff, you know, our young voters more than ever want to make sure that our Republicans and our candidates that are putting forth a message of working together to get this problem solved. You know, I think whether you look at the Simpson-Bowles plan or many of the other things, we need to make sure that we're working together and putting these important issues forth.
Alexandra, let's talk about entitlement reform. That's another topic that's very important for Republicans, and they have said, the leadership in Washington, they want to hear the president, they want to hear Democrats talk about entitlement reform. Are young Republicans in favor of a partial or whole privatization of our entitlement program? Would young Republicans be open to the idea of privatizing Social Security and things like that?
Our Republicans on campus have traditionally expressed support for cutting spending. They can see that the current climate that we're in of overspending and just simply not having enough revenue and increasing our deficit is just not a tenable plan for the future, and especially as regards their future employment perspective. But I think with younger voters and with all voters nationwide in the exit polls, it showed overwhelmingly that still those core conservative issues of cutting spending and limited government still reigned, which is promising for our future. It was that cares about me question that really got us, that more than 80% of respondents felt that the Republican Party was just a party that did not care about them. And so I think going into the future, and especially speaking to those communities and demographics that were not supportive of the Republican Party this time around, it's going to be important for us as college Republicans to make sure that we get that message out to those communities in a way that shows that the Republican Party cares about them and indeed cares about the future of the entire country by making us a more sustainable place to live.
So Megan, how do you do that? How does the Republican Party reach out and say, we care about you to the immigrant community? Immigration, of course, it seems like Republicans are very eager now since Election Day to get some kind of a bill going on immigration reform. How do young people in your party see that issue, and where would you like to see the reform movement go?
Well, I think this is backing off of what Jake was saying about the economic situation. I think both sides of the party need to compromise. I mean, some of the Republican viewpoints on immigration just don't really stand anymore, and it also is on the same side of the Democratic Party, and I think we need to look at these terms more realistically and come up what is going to be best for the country rather than best for the party.
Yeah, we definitely need pragmatic solutions to that issue, and I think we need to reapproach that issue, with more of a heart. More of an ideology that kind of speaks to those minority voters. But most importantly, I think we have a great bench of rising stars in the Republican Party that are of minority. You can look at Susana Martinez, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and et cetera, and to see where that we have leading voices in this party for immigration reform and many of those important issues.
Alexandra, last question to you, and quickly, if you don't mind, optimism for the future of the GOP?
Very optimistic. I was with Jake and Megan not too long ago at the Massachusetts College Republican Convention today, where we saw 60 CRs come out right before their finals, not 24 days after suffering defeat here in Boston. And just to see such positive and positive enthusiasm for the future. These kids are ready to get on their campuses in the spring and start recruiting again.
Alexandra Smith, Megan Dutra, Jake Wagner. Great to speak with all three of you. Hope we can keep the conversation going over the next couple of years.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you so much.
Well, coming up, American students are racking up loans, and they're doing it fast, owing nearly $1 trillion, and taxpayers may be on the line. Could there be a repeat of the subprime mortgage crisis? We're going to take a look at that.
Also, a favor repaid after Superstorm Sandy. A group of New Orleans firefighters traveling to New York City will tell you how they plan to help.
It's a hopeless feeling right now, but as you can see, you have people that care.
We're the people with the smile on the box. We're the reinventors of normal. So when we bring you a new Kindle Fire, you should know that normal is going to change again. With an HD screen, HD camera, and dual speaker Dolby sound. And 22 million movies, TV shows, songs, apps, books, and more. Hey Normal, take that. The all-new Kindle Fire HD.
Everyone deserves the gift of old age.